climate change is not a new phenomenon, but rather a consequence of man-made pollution. In the wake of learning about its causes and effects, more organizations are working to help stop it. California in particular is one of the leaders of green innovations in energy and fuel efficiency initiatives. One of California's biggest economic industries is a huge contributor to methane, a potent greenhouse gas. Yet its damage is often ignored. This methane crisis is coming from a seemingly harmless source: cows. Due to the natural biological process and farming practices, cows produce a great quantity of methane.
Any of the methane that's generated in the livestock production system is actually generated by microbes in the gut of the animal, and these microbes are known as methanogens. And so these methanogens are taking some of the products that are provided by the breakdown of the feed in the gut. They're produced by bacteria, and then some of this waste product that's produced by those bacteria is taken up by the methanogens to make methane.
In response to the danger of greenhouse gas emissions, environmentalists in office in California passed Assembly Bill No. 32, or California Global Warming Solutions Act. Assembly Bill 32, otherwise known as AB 32, states that California understands climate change is an issue that will impact California's natural resources if not considered. Therefore, California will reduce its emission levels back down to the levels recorded in 1990 by the year 2020, and an 80% reduction of 1990 levels by 2050. The main greenhouse gas targets of this law are CO2, nitrous oxide, and methane. Because methane is one of the most harmful greenhouse gases that is largely produced by farming, the agriculture industry is taking a hard hit with the bill, especially the dairy sector. While AB calls for a reduction of methane in the agricultural field, it is not specific about how this will be achieved. The uncertainty of this bill has caused dairy farmers a lot of stress about potential costs to their business that may arise from complying with the bill. Small-scale dairy farmers, like the ones who are not a part of bigger corporations, are especially at risk in the bill because they lack economic prowess. Dismay from dairy farmers in the agriculture sector has led to opposition to the bill. The question arises, is Assembly Bill 32 really the best thing for California? The two main stakeholders in the issue are the Democratic environmentalists in office who support the bill's positive environmental impact, and small-scale dairy farmers who question the bill's necessity. Although protecting small business is important, the California Global Warming Solutions Act is an absolute necessity because the benefits of fighting against climate change outweigh the negative effects to the dairy sector. Dairy farmers have the right to be worried about the consequences that follow Assembly Bill 32. According to California Climate and Agriculture Network, for farmers, AB 32 regulation will increase the cost of fuel, energy, and perhaps other inputs, but the amount is unknown because many details have not been decided on. While the ramifications of AB 32 may seem unimportant, small changes in costs could be significant to a small farm. Additionally, AB 32 is still really vague and does not state what exactly all the methane cuts will entail, but makes general statements in terms of solutions. For instance, the California Air and Resources Board will create target emission levels specific to the industry and work to make it cost-effective. However, there is a large difference between the energy and agriculture sector, and there is a big difference between small dairy farms and corporate ones. But, so far the board has not put forward a detailed plan. Despite fear from the dairy sector, Assembly Bill 32 does not mean the destruction of small business. Within Assembly Bill 32, there's a specific clause included to make sure small businesses, like dairy farms, are protected. The clause states that the California Air and Resources Board will take into account greenhouse gas emissions when it comes to small businesses. If the field is considered by their standards to be a small business, there will be more lax regulations on greenhouse gas emissions. Additionally, California is not alone in its quest to reduce emissions. 11 other states have been reported to having created similar laws, all in order to help fight climate change. This is not a growing trend contained to California, but a movement towards a better future. In the end, we have to think about what are the biggest priorities: economic interests or California's diverse environment. If we do not work to set higher pollution quotas, what will be the ecological consequences? If we care more about money, what example are we setting for the future to come? When faced with the issue of climate change, we will be asked by generations what we did to stop it. Because after all, what are we fighting for? And what are we protecting?